Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for choosing to watch my video, and if you would subscribe it, like it, all that stuff, that'd be great. Otherwise, enjoy the video, and I hope it gives you the information you need and is helpful to you. Take care. So we're looking at a 2011 Kia Sorento all-wheel drive vehicle. Going to attempt the passenger side rear wheel bearing hub assembly. Got the tire off, 5 19mm lug nuts. Break them loose on the ground. Or maybe they're 21, I think I said 21mm lug nuts. Break them loose on the ground. A turn or two. Jack the vehicle up then and protect yourself with safety stands, etc. We got a hoist here, of course. Got the wheel off. A couple Phillips here. Cotter key. Large nut. Caliper. Bracket bolts in the back. One on the top, one on the bottom. We'll take the caliper, we'll hang it off to the side and go from there. Probably disconnect the ABS. Let's just do it right now. Not sure, but just gonna do it because I think so. Boom, disconnected. Just lift up on the tab. And then there's actually 4 bolts in the back that'll hopefully allow us to take it off. So that's the overview, and then we'll get started on that. If they don't want to come out, sometimes you can tap this with a hammer. It'll free it up a little bit. Otherwise, you can use what's called the impact driver. You hold this on it and you hit it with a hammer, and it usually breaks them loose. Like 99% of the time, it does a good job. This was making noise, that's why we're replacing it. So I'm using a 1 1/4 inch socket for this nut. You can have an assistant step on the brakes, or you can put the tire back on and put it on the ground and hold it steady that way. So we'll take the nut off. Alright, then I'm going to take the 2 caliper bolts off here. 14mm here. 14mm there. Whoop. So I'll probably just use a ratchet actually. Don't think I need the extension, a ratchet and a 14mm socket for both of those, and we'll take them off. And then back here you can see some of the bolts for the hub assembly back here, 14mm. Then I might use an extension of some kind in a wobbly socket. Similar setup to this on a impact gun of some kind probably. You can just use a ratchet if you'd like, but these are going to be my next steps right here. Slide the rotor off. Maybe tap it on the back side and turn it to get it to come off. I'm going to take off those bolts right now. I'm just going to use my ratchet and left to loosen, right to tighten. Be right back with them off. Alright, the 4 bolts are out. Kind of holds the whole assembly here together, the backing plate and the emergency brake stuff. It's got the emergency brake, but I bet we can just tap it through the backing plate here. It's got some rust here, so we can maybe spray some penetrant. Otherwise, we can just kind of tap that out of the backing plate hole.
Oh yeah. All right.
Boom. Hub assembly is out. Reverse procedure to install, as they say. Put it back in, and I'll give you some torque specs. Alright, so the 4 bolts back here, got the new one, just kind of slid into place almost here and pulled it in a little bit with the bolts. About 60 to 65 foot-pounds torque spec on the 4 back here. Caliper, mounting bolts right here. Those are about 47 to 54 foot-pounds. And then the lug nuts are 65 to 80 foot-pounds, so a little bit of a range. Oh yeah, and then we got the knuckle, or the nut here. The nut here is about 159 foot-pounds. 159.1 is what my specs say. Boom, right there. And put the. Then you need, if you need to turn it more, you can tighten it more to get the cotter key into place. I think that's everything. Pretty easy job for the rear hub assembly, wheel bearing on your 2011 Kia Sorento and other model years. If this looks like your vehicle, it's going to probably work for you. So I set the emergency brake to tighten that nut inside here. If for whatever reason your emergency brake doesn't work, you can just put the tire on, well, pop the center cap out of the tire, put a couple lug nuts on it and put it on the ground, and then you should be able to tighten it up that way with the tire on the ground. So the 159 got me close, and I did have to go a little tighter to get the holes to line up. So I'm just giving you a little tip on tightening that nut. So emergency brake, or have someone hold the brake pedal down really hard, that works as well. Or put the tire on the ground with a couple lug nuts. So we're just wrapping it up. So best of luck again to you.